Why does your autistic child struggle so badly with rejection? And I'm talking specifically a child with demand avoidance. If you're coming from TikTok, good to see you here. You might want to skip the first 5 minutes of this video. It might feel like a bit of repetition. So if you fast forward, you can get to the part where I talk about the strategies of how to help your child with demand avoidance handle rejection, I guess, in that moment, and also how to deal with it going forward. But if you've not watched the video on TikTok, let's talk about it from the top. Now, rejection with a demand avoidant child is like really hard because, let's face it, you can't get away with it. Rejection is part of life, and sometimes kids don't want to be friends with your child, and sometimes, you know, your child gets picked last to play football in the park. These things are going to happen. It's part of growing up. And these things hurt. They hurt neurotypical children. They're definitely going to hurt children with demand avoidance. But the pain, well, it runs much deeper, and that's because their brain is wired differently. Now, when we talk about demand avoidance, or pathological demand avoidance, you might call it, this condition is, how can I say it? It's an overreactive stress response. That's one way to describe it. When a child with demand avoidance faces stress, whether it's social, you can't play with us, or, structured, you didn't get picked for the football, their brain doesn't just, register that as disappointment. It sees it as a threat. It's really, really key to emphasize this. Why? Because these children rely heavily on control to feel safe. They plan and they predict how situations will go in their head, sometimes like not even realizing it. So when something unexpected happens, like being left out or told no, it's not just upsetting or unsettling. It feels like they've lost control, and that can send their nervous system into a panic. Their brain is doing what it thinks it must. It's trying to protect them. But what we see on the outside, which looks like a meltdown or anger or shutdown or even indifference, underneath all of that is a child who feels vulnerable and, quite frankly, overwhelmed. Helping Ruby, my daughter, navigate rejection in the park the other day was certainly something to reflect on. Ruby had a big reaction to something small, and she plays with a girl who also is homeschooled. And when she came over, we got through the big emotions and things slowed down. I realized it wasn't such a small deal to her, because Ruby was even swearing about the girl and telling me I don't like that girl. Now, keep in mind, Ruby's played with this other girl a few times before in the park, and generally, they play quite well together. When Ruby started to unpack and calm down what had happened, Ruby wanted the game to be played in a certain way, like a long story short, and the other girl had said no for whatever reason. In Ruby's mind, it wasn't just a disagreement, it felt like a rejection, because she offered to play the game in a certain way and the girl said no. Now, that rejection, demand avoidant children, that can feel like a full-on threat. Her brain had already imagined how the play would go. She was ready, she had a plan, but it didn't go as was expected, and that loss of control, that triggered her stress response. So here's the first part. What can we actually do in that moment? Well, step one, it's never a recipe, but if there are steps, here's the first. Always validate the feelings without jumping to fix it. The temptation is to try and fix it. When Ruby swore and she said she didn't like the girl, I just ignored that, right? Don't correct it straight away. It's something like, it looks like that was really upsetting for you. I said to her, Ruby, I know it's hard that, something didn't go the way we want it to go. So I'm not trying to fix it. I'm validating it. And as you can see, I'm not trying to agree with her swearing at the child. The validation is helping her settle the nervous system, and it's sending the message of you're safe and I get it. Step two is staying close and calm. So instead of explaining or correcting, I sat with her at first quietly, and I didn't try to talk her out of how she felt. I kept my voice low and my energy was steady. So I'm trying to help Ruby co-regulate before I get into a conversation about her language and other things. Step three is to gently reframe the story later. So not there and then, but in the heat of a moment is a bad idea. But when we were walking home and I bought her some chips as you do. I was, hinting about what had just happened, and I said, sometimes when I wanted people to play with me at school and they didn't want to be my friend or play that game, it doesn't mean they don't like me. It just means that they couldn't play the game. So I'm trying to get her to think about understanding that not getting your way is not the same as being rejected. And waiting for that moment, like timing is everything when you're talking to a demand avoidant child. It's tempting to correct it there. Step 4 is to build up rejection, that resilience to rejection through low stake games. So, when you're at home, you play games and Ruby can win or lose. That's what happens in the game. But we keep the stakes light, right? And we name that feeling hungry, hungry hippos or whatever game. Oh, that's frustrating. It didn't go your way. Should we try again, or do you want to take a break? I think of it like a muscle, and you want to build the muscle for managing disappointment without panic. We're modeling that, we're losing, and we're trying to be humorous about it. Step 5, or another tip, use metaphor and stories. Like kids like Ruby often respond better to pictures than instructions. So, I might say, yeah, okay, you didn't get what you wanted, just like when it was raining outside once, but then that's part of life, and when you come outside after the rain is a pretty rainbow. So I'm just trying to draw it together or make up a story that connects with her, okay, and to do with the things that she likes. And step 6 is you want to offer, how can I say it, the autonomy in the repair. You want to give them power back. So giving Ruby a choice in how she wants to feel better is also important. Whether it's a cuddle or a snack, some quiet time, stomping around like a dinosaur, this is all about her feeling or gaining control again. That question of, what would help you right now? I'm thinking some quiet time, a snack, a drawing, just anything to put the ball back into her court, to give her the autonomy she needs. So just remember, it's not about fixing the moment. It is about helping your child feel safe, seen, and slowly, that's key, teaching their brain that these moments, however big they may feel, are actually survivable. And I've been seeing some success with these low stake games, with the validation of feelings, not being quick to repair everything. And we've got to keep training that muscle so these children are emotionally healthy and strong and resilient, and they can equip themselves with the tools that they need to deal with, which is very much part of life, rejection. Please do like and subscribe if you found the video useful, and I'll be posting soon. Okay, take care.